over the years that I've been playing Team Fortress 2 on this channel, I've encountered a wide variety of different maps on different type of game modes. Some of them are staples, some of them are special events. But the question is, which one is actually my favourite map in Team Fortress 2? So today I've compiled a list of my top 10 favourite Team Fortress 2 maps and put them in this list together. Number 10 is the map District in the game mode Pastime. So this map kind of has a little bit of inspirations from different type of cultures. I believe it has a little bit of British mixed with a little bit of China, I think. Technically the Wikipedia page says it's technically a Chinese city, but the buses do look like they're from Britain, so I'm going to call it a mixture of the two. But anyway, regarding the aesthetic, the layout of this map, I think personally is the best one for the Pastime games, because it can cause a little bit of difficulty in some aspects, but it can also, speech today, it can also cause a little bit of good opportunities in the map, such as the sprints, and so not the sprint ramp, the boost ramps, that's it. There's an upper and lower level, so you've got a little bit of variety when it comes to getting around. And also the subway trains do actually cause a little bit of a hazard, so there has been a couple of occasions in the past where I've been killed by someone and they've kind of got their comeuppance with a subway train coming from the side, and yeah, let's say it wasn't a good day for them. Number 9 is a classic Badwater Basin Payload. So I was bound to put at least a couple of the original TF2 maps on this list, and the first one is Badwater. So this is a classic Payload map where basically you start off in kind of a rocky hillside, trying to just get around the corner and end up putting the payload into basically a crater in a kind of an industrial warehouse type of thing, maybe a factory, I don't know. But the layout is simple. It's just basically round the block. It can be kind of even for both teams. If you play the game, if you play it right, you can cruise through easily with the payload. But if the defending team manages very well, then it can actually be really tricky for the attacking team. So it's kind of a nice mixture, kind of a nice balance. And yeah, that's why I think it is a favourite of mine. So that's why I'm putting it number 9 on this list. Number 8 is Rottenberg, Man vs Machine. So I wanted to put at least one Man vs Machine map on this list, but when looking at it, I thought quite a few of them were kind of basic. The only exceptions were, in my opinion, Ghost Town, which is the hardest difficulty, and this one, Rottenberg. For me, this is the most unique out of any of them because it has a kind of a two-way layout, I guess you could say, for the robots, for the machines, and it kind of has a nice aesthetic. I believe it's modelled on maybe Austrian or German architecture, I think, with the way the map is designed. And what I mean by different pathways is you can actually have two tanks going in two separate directions, one going under a tunnel while the other one goes above it, I believe. Yeah, this is the right map if you want a mixture of a unique setting in a TF2 map, and also it creates a little bit of a challenge as well. This is overall one of the harder TF2 maps. I think the only ones that I've found harder than this was, I think, Manhattan and Ghost Town. But yeah, so this creates a nice difficulty and a nice mixture of difficulty and aesthetics. Number 7, another classic from the TF2 era, and that is Gorge, Attack and Defense. Now specifically I say Attack and Defense because the control point one is okay, but I don't think it can beat the Attack and Defense layout of the map. It's pretty simple. You just got one control point in the middle on the bridge, and then it's just straight forward into the Reds building, and yeah, it can be quite chaotic. You got two levels. You got the upper balcony. Well, actually 3 levels technically, I think, if I remember correctly. So you got 2 to 3 levels at the end, And yes, where the control point is, it's an easy picking point for turrets, like for sentries, just underneath the balconies, underneath the walkways. Very hard to get them. So yeah, for a defending team, this is probably one of the better maps, I think, in attack and defense for a layout perspective. But it does make it more rewarding when eventually you do get the win as an attacking team. But yeah, I think this layout is pretty good, and yeah, so that's why I put this on my list. Number 6 is Banana Bay Payload Race. So if you would have asked me this question maybe a year or two ago, I would have actually put Banana Bay higher on this list. But after doing some thinking, I've thought about some of the other maps that I've played in recent years, and I thought, you know, Banana Bay isn't as great as I remember. But overall, it's still a pretty fun map. This is actually, I believe, the only payload race on this list, if I'm correct. But yeah, it's one of the best looking maps I think I've come across in TF2 with the tropical settings, so you can actually go swimming in the ocean. And actually, I think in fairness, at some point the payloads actually have to go under the water, which is kind of unique. It also has a train right in the middle, so if you're not careful, actually the train will kill you, and that's actually how you win the game. The way you win the game is you get your payload onto the railway tracks and the train actually destroys it. And eventually when the train destroys it, the train actually just stops. So yeah, that's a little bit of a different mechanic for ending a payload race. Definitely one of the more unique ones. And yeah, I'd definitely like to go back to this map sometime in the future, because overall it's not really one of the most played, I've noticed, so sometimes it's a bit hard to get to. But anyway, it's number 6 on this list. Number 5 is another classic, it's Upward Payload. So with this one, this is probably one of the more, I think this is the oldest, this might be the oldest payload race I think there is in TF2. But it still holds out very well to this day. Yeah, so the map itself is set in kind of the Old West, I believe. Although it looks like it's on top of a giant mountain or something like that. Yeah, the layout is pretty simple. So it's basically just dash with the payload, and yeah, I will admit actually it's kind of hard to explain why this is so good, why this one's so high on the list, but it just feels right. Like, yeah, it just feels right to have this one so high up the list. Yeah, the more I keep playing this over and over again, obviously this is a training one as well, so you can also play this offline, which is, in fairness, an added bonus. But yeah, it's just, especially the ending, like, the ending can be quite chaotic for both teams. If you don't play your cards right at the end of this level, you can be in really big trouble. Because yeah, if the blues manage to get all their team there, you're in trouble. And if the reds manage to defend very successfully, then it'll be a hard day for the blues. But yeah, overall, I would say this is definitely, I would probably say this is the best payload race to play still to this day. So payload map to this day, and that's why I'm putting it at number 5 on this list. Number 4, and this actually kind of starts a hat trick of a theme, I guess you could say. Number 4 is Badlands King of the Hill. So yes, this I would say is one of the most successful maps I have playing Team Fortress 2. Yeah, I'd say this is one of the better ones I have probably a win-loss record on, and it's quite simple design really. It's a fairly small map, and yeah, it's just basically two teams trying to capture the control point, which is on a railway bridge. Well, yeah, kind of a railway bridge. The map works out well because you can have like a turret hidden in the corner, so it will be good for a defensive team. And the layout also serves well for attacking teams. Well, it's not attacking defense, so like you can be attacking or defending, yeah, in King of the Hills. But yes, this one I really enjoy playing, especially with scouts, because there is a little bit of different levels you can be at. So if you can move around a lot with scout, obviously it does help. And yeah, I do really enjoy playing this, and that's why it's number 4 on this list. Taking the bronze medal position on this list, we have at number 3, Nucleus, King of the Hill. So, this is another King of the Hill map, and personally, I think this is overall possibly the hardest one to win out of any King of the Hill map. So, Nucleus is basically just around kind of a silo under a nuclear generator? I guess, because that's what, maybe it's why that's called Nucleus. But anyway, yeah, the layout is, yeah, it's basically just a big circle. You got, I believe, 3 layers. You got a balcony, you got the Nucleus level itself, and you've got one underneath it. And yeah, it's very tricky to capture the center, let alone to hold it. Overall, I would say this is the hardest King of the Hill to win. And yeah, one of my probably one of my favorite ever videos I've made on this channel was Nucleus King of the Hill, and that was probably one of the times, well, I'd say overall that's probably one of the most fun, some of them the most fun, sorry, I'm getting all my words wrong, one of the most fun times I've had making a tier 2 video. There we go, finally got it eventually. But yeah, there's something about this map. But yeah, anyway, it takes the bronze medal position, takes number 3 on this list. Taking the runners-up spot, we have at number 2, and completing the King of the Hill hat-trick, Sewagin. Now, I'll be honest, the top 2 on this list, the top 2 maps on this list, if you've been following my channel for a long time, you probably shouldn't be surprised what's number 1 or number 2 on this list. But yes, Sewagin, easily my favourite King of the Hill map. Aesthetically, it's one of the best, well, I think it's the best looking, I don't know why I'm getting all my words wrong today. Personally, I think this is the best looking map in all of Team Fortress 2. It's just the Japanese architecture, the cherry blossoms, I think. It's also the little like sound cues. That's another thing as well. Like you've got a little bit of like a Japanese style guitar at the start of the rounds, which is a nice little touch. And yeah, it's also a very fun. It's a very fun map layout to play as well, because you can go in multiple directions. You can go in 3 different directions from your base. You can go left, which goes up. Oh, actually, if you're playing, I think, yeah, if you're playing blue, I think. Actually, I'm not going to say anything just in case. But yes, so you've got 2 towers either side. So you've got a higher and a lower balcony. So yeah, it can present some interesting opportunities for snipers, for sadly for campers. But yeah, I really enjoy playing this map, and it never gets old playing it. And that's why it's the runners-up. It's number 2 on this list. And taking the number 1 spot on this list, it shouldn't really be a surprise for my usual subscribers. At number 1, we have the Groot Keep. So this is the most unique, probably regular map you can play, I think, in my opinion. So yes, this map is basically, it removes all modern weapons and gives you medieval weapons. So it can help some classes which, well, which can utilize medieval weapons as their default weapons. Most notably is the demo with the charging sword, the spy with the knife, and also you've got, of course, the crossbow, sorry, the arrows, the longbow with the sniper. So yes, when it comes to playing this map, pretty much every time I usually go with either the demo, the pyro with the fire axe, or with the sniper. It does mitigate some of the other factors. I mean, the engineer, for example, he can't actually build anything. The heavy can't use his guns, so he only got metal fists, if I'm correct. The scouts can be quite interesting because you just got the bat. The medic, you've got the, I think it's the sword or the knife sword, something like that. What was the other classes? The demo has got, no, not the demo. the soldier has got the axe, and what's the other class I'm forgetting? Yeah, I think I've covered all of them. But yeah, this is one of the most unique ones because obviously it's set in a Scottish castle, I believe. I think it's Scottish. I might be wrong about that. But yeah, so like I said, the fact that it takes away the modern weapons, it just means you have to think differently to what you'd normally do. And yeah, that creates interesting scenarios, and there's been so many occasions, so many occasions over the years where I've played this map and the ending is just absolute chaos. Like you have 5 people just standing over it, like piling in, and you just have to like swat them all, try and swat them away like flies. Oh, I love this map. So yes, the group keep my #1 map, and if I'm honest, this will probably be always my #1 map in Team Fortress 2.